All right, you ready?
That sounded official. Good morning, everybody. I'm Dan Bates, President and CEO of the Greater Hamilton Chamber of Commerce, and we are glad you could join us today. We have another really incredibly interesting presentation today, and you'll hear more from Astrid in a little bit, and she'll introduce herself. But the protocol is we are on Zoom, so you can ask questions of the speaker. If you are on Facebook Live, you can type in your questions, and Tiffany will repeat them to Astrid so that she can answer them for you. And today's topic is really about personal health, family health, community health, overall well-being, and all the pieces of the puzzle that kind of play into that. So I think you're in for a really educational and interesting presentation. So with that being said, and Astrid, I'm so thrilled you could join us today. I'm a little piece of Healthy Hamilton as one of the volunteers who doesn't do much because the staff does everything, but we help create awareness in the community. So anyway, I'm Dan Bates, you know who I am. We're going to do self-introductions so we can find out who all of you are, and then it's going to be time for our presenter. So Laura, back to you.
Okay, thanks everyone. Glad to have you all here today. I'm Laura Merrill with the Greater Hamilton Chamber. We will just go around. Please tell me your name and what company you're with. Steve, we will start with you.
Hello, good morning, everyone. Steve Wayne, Miami University Regionals, and I'm in Career Services.
The first time twice we'll see you today, I think.
Right.
Good to see you. Tiffany?
I am Tiffany Grubb, Director of Membership and Marketing at the Greater Hamilton Chamber.
And Nancy?
Good morning, I'm Nancy O'Neill with the Greater Hamilton Chamber.
Wonderful. And then Astrid will let you do your introduction and I will get your presentation up.
Beautiful. Good morning, everyone. Thank you all for being here. Thank you all for inviting me to talk to you all. I'm so excited to speak on Healthy Hamilton. I love it and I believe in its purpose, and hopefully you can all understand where we come from whenever we do plan a Healthy Hamilton event. But my name is Astrid Gomez. I work with Envision Partnerships. I'm the Youth Coalition Coordinator there. And we can go ahead and get started. So Envision Partnerships has been doing prevention in Butler County for about 50 years. We focus on 4 pillars of prevention, which include suicide, violence, problem gambling, and substance abuse. Half of our work is in the schools, providing classroom-based and small group supports to students, while the other half is focused on community-based prevention, where I work. The Hamilton Prevention Partners Coalition is one of the 3 community coalitions housed within Envision Partnerships. The Hamilton Prevention Partners Coalition is in its first of 5 years of a $250,000 per year grant that aims to reduce substance use by youth. All right, we can move to our next slide, Laura. Healthy Hamilton is in its 4th year. I'll tell you more about it later, but first, let me ask you a few questions. Slide 3. What word or phrase comes to mind when you hear the word health? And please, everyone, feel free to jump in and answer. What do you think of when you hear the word health?
Physical health.
Physical health, yes, yes. Anybody else?
Happiness.
Happiness.
A feeling of comfort.
A feeling of comfort. Okay, that might also go with happiness. Usually whenever you're comfortable, you are in a state of bliss or happy. I love it.
Longevity.
Longevity. Yes, yes. Health can definitely bring good longevity to your life.
Mental health.
Mental health. Exactly. We can go to the next slide, please.
Okay.
So exactly as you all said, whenever we think of health, most people often think of health being one of 2 things, which is people who exercise or going to the doctor. But there's so much more to health than just physical, but you have to think about your mental health, emotional health. There's so many dimensions of health that you have to consider to make a whole well-being of a person. And the idea of health is different between individuals. Some may say health is not eating fast food and only vegetables and fruit, while others may think it's all right to indulge in a bit of unhealthy food options. If you've got a sweet tooth, let me eat a brownie. Or if you're on a low carb diet, it all depends on each individual. They all think of health as different, as just as you all have demonstrated right now. Whenever asked about health, everybody had a different answer. We all think of it as something completely different. Next slide. So since you all are attending a Chamber of Commerce event, I will ask, what do you think it takes for a healthy business? So we think of health individually, but what do we think of healthy when it comes to a business?
A plan.
A plan, okay. What else?
Healthy employees.
Ah, so you want healthy employees to create an overall healthy business. Exactly, yes. What else?
An empowering environment.
An empowering environment. To be able to have healthy employees and run a great business, you do need to have motivation, a plan to be able to execute correctly and efficiently. Next slide. So again, people may immediately go to the health of a business being defined by its profits, though. Nobody had mentioned that. That's interesting. Small businesses, entrepreneurs, and nonprofits might also think about filling a need in a community or for their customers. While these are definitely all right answers, they are not necessarily all that would define health. Think about it like baking a cake with eggs and flour. Those are the two key ingredients, but there's a whole lot more that is missing before it becomes a cake. Next slide. If we think about a healthy city, like the cake, what are the ingredients you might need?
Access to health services.
Access to health services. I love that answer. What else?
Lots of activities.
Positive activities, yes. That's definitely where the chamber comes in handy a lot. You all create such fun events to bring the community together.
Quality of life.
Quality of life, excuse me, yes. Whenever we think about living, we only think about in the moment, but we don't think about how we could change our moment today to increase our moment tomorrow. We like to think about enjoying today, but we also have to think about how long we want to enjoy our life. So quality of life for sure. Lovely answers. All right, we can go on to the next slide, please. So this short list might even include things like philanthropy, good schools, and smooth roads, which I'm sure Hamilton knows a lot about. Next slide, please. In 2017, Envision Partnerships developed what we now call the Alternatives Campaign. This took the idea of asking your doctor about such and such medication, especially a painkiller, and instead asking your doctor about alternatives to painkillers. It was a counter ad to combat the opioid epidemic that was raging in Hamilton at the time. We knew that about 70% of people who were addicted to opioids started from a prescribed painkiller. There are several non-opioid pain prevention and management options that include exercise, yoga, mindful meditation, acupuncture, and physical therapy. The Alternatives Campaign was our attempt to educate people about these options. Looking at the demographics of those most impacted by opioid epidemic or addiction, we were seeing it was mostly white men ages 45 to 65. A closer look at Hamilton's demographics showed that this particular epidemic might be tied to what is being called diseases of despair that also included suicide. We decided that a campaign was not enough. We needed to create an opportunity that would allow people to learn about and try out these alternatives in a free and non-threatening way. We also wanted to highlight local businesses like Renzen Massage Therapy and One Love Yoga as local options for these alternatives to pain management. Next slide, please. We also added the 17 Hood Bike Tour. This idea was stolen from New York City's 5-borough bike tour. The idea was to get people moving at a slower pace, going through neighborhoods they may have never been before in a safe environment with police escort and learning about different organizations along the way. The purpose began to grow. We were creating healthy communities by raising awareness, connecting with others, and actively engaging in the city's diverse neighborhoods, the 17 strong, the 17 neighborhoods of Hamilton. Next slide. In 2019, we decided to build on the first year by providing opportunities around the city on a monthly basis. It was a lot. Next slide. 2020 was, well, everybody knows what 2020 was. We did it all virtually, but in June of 2020, people were still very excited about any events taking place, even if it was virtually. We also changed the theme in 2020 because we started seeing alternatives to pain medication, advertisements for marijuana use for medicine. Next slide, please. The dimensions of wellness became the focus in 2020. In 2021, we really embraced the 8 dimensions of wellness as the new approach to healthy Hamilton. Each one of our events has many dimensions included. On July 3rd, we had our signature event in the series. It was a scavenger hunt along the High Main Street corridor that had raffle prizes from businesses in that same area. We partnered with organizations like 17 Strong, the YMCA, and CHIPS, as well as the Chamber of Commerce. We had Dan Bates to volunteer and help us support in that event by passing out posters and getting support from the local businesses as well. So thank you to the Chamber for that. To provide activities for each of the 8 dimension stops, we had 10 local businesses support us in donations that increased our incentives to have people come join us in our events. And the raffle prizes ended up over $400 in just donations from local businesses. We did not expect to see that kind of support from our local community, but we were so grateful to have that support from the many local businesses in Hamilton. That was when I really saw that Hamilton comes together when they need to. In big events to take care of the community itself and the members in our community, we all come together to create an event that helps and builds our community. I born and raised in Hamilton, raised in Hamilton. I grew up here my whole life. I have only seen so much of Hamilton, and I'm sad to say that I didn't explore more until I got into this job. But man, oh man, am I so grateful to have this job, to let me see the different parts of Hamilton, the local businesses and their support in our event, and just being so open to helping us and staying open that day to have people come in. I mean, it was overwhelmingly sweet and incredibly kind. Next slide, please. When we look at the health of a city and have to do it, we all have to do it in all its dimensions, including its history and diversity. We ask the questions why and why here when investigating what gets in the way of the health of our community. In order to answer those questions, we need the experts from different perspectives to share what they experience and hear what they have to offer as possible causes and solutions. We hope you will consider joining us to create Healthy Hamilton, as we will continue to bring more events throughout the year and continuing on during our whole grant year as well. And that, I think, is the last of my slide. We ended a little earlier than I had expected, but I am happy to answer any questions in the last 40 minutes we have.
Everyone's quiet today. Tiffany, we have anybody on Facebook? No questions?
There's several watching, but no questions yet.
Okay.
I have a question. Big surprise. Asher, what has, in taking this kind of holistic approach to a whole city, what has been your biggest surprises and what have been the biggest challenges so far?
In Healthy Hamilton or?
Yeah, in Healthy Hamilton.
In Healthy Hamilton. I think one of our biggest challenges this year with this past event, that our challenge was volunteers. we have so many people supporting our business, but of course it was a holiday weekend and a lot of people were out of town for families or taking care of their families during that time. So we were able to find enough volunteers to keep us going on that event. But of course, we are always looking for volunteers at any moment in time to come support our events. We love to see different community members. And during our event, we did have some people who came by and said, you know, I love what you're doing. How do I get involved? Anyone and everyone is more than welcome to be involved in all of our events. We love the support from especially local community members and just members of Hamilton. That's all we're expecting. One of the greatest things that I've seen is the support, though, that we get from all of our businesses and all of our community members. Whenever we reach out to somebody, we always get an answer. We always get support. Whenever we need something, we usually get that done because of the support that we have from our community members. I mean, they're always willing and ready to help. And I think our past event was it was my first event planning. So that was a lot of fun. But again, because I was raised in Hamilton, I've seen different things growing up. And a lot of the things that I regret not doing growing up was joining more of these Hamilton events. Now that I work in the community, I've kind of used that as my way to get more involved, but I am always looking for different events outside of my organization to go to in Hamilton to just get a better idea of what Hamilton is. Youth, especially, I am the youth coalition coordinator for our Hamilton Prevention Partners Coalition, housed in Envision Partnerships. And I see what the youth see, I hear what the youth have to say, and they have a lot to say. A lot of them with the vaping issues, and you know, we know that alcohol use is increasing with the youth. So having different events like this for youth to come is a great alternative to doing whatever they may want to do that may not be the right choice and right option for them. So I don't know if that answered your question, Dan. I'm so sorry if it didn't.
Yeah,
But
that's okay. That's okay. I have another one.
Please.
Yes, it did. You know, with Healthy Hamilton being under the Envision Partnerships umbrella,
Yes.
you know, I mean, it's pretty clear kind of what your strategies are. But when this grant is over, you know, what goals will you hope to have achieved, or if you're trying to move the needle, so to speak, what is that needle? How will you know that this has been that you've achieved your goals?
Wow, Dan, I should have known that you would come with a hard-hitting question. You
Sorry.
always do. Me personally, I would love to say that we would try to measure through the coalition's aspects on what they see and what they don't see. So in the coalition, I work with the youth and they tell me all about, you know, oh, this is the issue that I'm seeing here, or this is the issue that I'm seeing there. All in all, that way, in that personal aspect, we can measure whether they're seeing more or a decrease, an increase or decrease of that specific habit being done in that area. But overall, I do not know exactly what we hope to get. Of course, substance reduced youth, but how we're going to go about measuring that, I sadly do not have the full answer to that. I'm still new to the Envision Partnerships family. I have only been there not even a year yet, so I'm hoping to stay there for a while. But Dan, I will for sure get an answer for you from my supervisor and get back to you on that, because I love that question and I would love to have it for reference for myself.
Didn't mean to stump you there, but it is, you know, I think it's something that people would wonder about, like what, you know, because you're putting a lot of effort and resources into this, and it's, you know, really a positive message on the surface, but you know how will you know 2 years from now that, yeah, you know, you made a difference? That's just, I think a lot of people would be curious about that.
No, of course. I love the question, and you're completely right. I mean, we used the Pride survey data for our first event, and that's how we were trying to create our event based on that. And it's all surrounding the 8 dimensions of wellness. So we want to make sure that people understand to have a holistic well-being body, you need to have all 8 dimensions: financial, emotional, physical. It's not just physical health. It's much more than that. There's 8 dimensions of it, actually, physical just being one of them. So hoping out of the Healthy Hamilton event specifically that people start to understand that concept, that you need to have all 8 dimensions of wellness to be able to be fully well.
I have a question. I wonder if there
Yes.
might be an opportunity to partner with the new Spooky Nook Sports Complex that'll be opening up soon there, since they're all about, recreation and physical activity. Just a thought.
Yes, Steve, I love that. My apologies. My internet is not stable at where I'm staying, so I may have cut out for a minute. But yes, Steve, I heard your question, and we actually did work with Spooky Nook for a bit during our bike tour on June 5th, before the Pride events. We actually were able to partner with Spooky Nook for a little bit. During our bike tour, we were able to go through Spooky Nook and have the director of building there to explain to us what the future of Spooky Nook was going to look like, what to expect, how long they were going to continue working. I mean, I definitely agree that if we can continue to partner with Spooky Nook, that would bring crazy amount of education, of prevention, and the 8 dimensions of wellness. As you said, they are a recreational location to help build different physical health and different well-beings as well. So I completely agree, and hoping we can continue to work with them. But we did get a little snippet of working with them during our bike tour. Any other questions? Please feel free.
So what other events do you have planned for this year?
So we actually, in August 12th, we're going to be having a youth summit at the Fitton Center. So that is going to be for anyone ages 12 to 15. And anybody is welcome to come. We're going to be talking about creative art and hoping to talk about the other 8 dimensions of wellness, mostly emotional and environmental. Those are the big things that are affecting the mental health of youth today, especially after COVID. I mean, this pandemic has really touched on communication and mental health and drastically has changed it forever. We need youth to understand that, there is a better future out here for us, and we want to talk about what we can do to better that mental health and a wellness overall for youth all around. So our youth summit is coming up August 12th. You can register at our Envision Partnerships page. Again, ages 12 to 15. Super excited. We're going to have a ton of different artistic views and different arts that people can do, and they're going to be able to take something home with them. So we're really excited about that.
That's awesome. So when we get done, can you add that to the comments later?
I
So people on
can.
Facebook can go
Let me
back
see
and
if I
check
can
that
pull
out.
it up.
And we will definitely share like your contact information. Anybody has a need to contact you, what is the best way to contact you?
Yes, so my email is actually going to be the best way to get in contact with me, and it's just going to be Gomez, AGOMEZ at Envision with an E, partnerships.com. You can also look us up on envisionpartnerships.com or look us up on Facebook, and we will be advertising the Youth Summit and all our future events there as well.
Awesome. Yeah, we can add that to the comments too later if anybody needs to contact Astrid.
And I'll drop it here in the chat. Hopefully, I know you all can only see this.
And then I know you sent us some information with some other program details. Looks like you've got a variety of things on here. So I see something about Pet Wants Wellness. That looks interesting.
Yes. So that was the 2020 Healthy Hamilton series event. Each
Okay.
year it's a little bit different. We kind of
Okay.
work with the flow. So of course, COVID kind of put a dent in our physical appearance of Healthy Hamilton last year. So that was all virtual. This year was in person, and we're going to continue to make it a series once a month, at least for the rest of the year. And then hoping if we get a good turnout at the end of the year, we can continue next year. But yes, Healthy Hamilton, we kind of flow with what we got, and whatever our community is in need for at the moment, we definitely want to support them in that need and help in whatever way we can.
That's awesome. So all your events are on your website?
Yes. On our Facebook and our website, we try to promote as much as possible, of course, through the different businesses here in Hamilton, as we did for our last event on July 3rd. So again, thank you, Dan, for helping us out with that. It was amazing promotion.
And you're also posting your events on the Explore Hamilton app, so people can look up the events there as well.
Beautiful, yes. Anywhere we can get it out and about to the people so that they can see that we are here. We're here to help. I mean, let us know. We will post it there.
Yep. So anybody who has events, we have the community events calendar on the Greater Hamilton Chamber's website page. So if you go to our hamilton-ohio.com, down the left side, scroll down a little bit to add a community event. You can add your event there, and those events will populate over to the Explore Hamilton app. So if you haven't downloaded the Explore Hamilton app, go to your app store, Google Play or Android, and find Explore Hamilton, and you will have all kinds of information on the app. We have events, we have parks and recreation. You can find local businesses. So if you're looking for somewhere to shop, somewhere to eat, you need your car repaired, any type of business in the area, we have them all on the app. So definitely download the app and check all of that out. So Astrid, do you have anything else to share with us today?
If nobody has any other questions, I mean, that was all I personally had, but if anybody has any last minute questions, I'd be happy to answer them. Or if you would like to be private, my email again, of course, you can reach me there. If there's any questions about resources that you need in the area, or if you would like to volunteer in our future events, please let me know. We would be happy to have anyone and everyone come join.
Okay, that's awesome. We will add all that to the Facebook comments after we get done. So Astrid, thank you very much for being with us today. Appreciate you taking time to share about this great program here in Hamilton. And if anybody has any questions, please let Astrid know. And we will see you all back in a couple weeks. We are back July 27th. And that day we'll have Primary Health Solutions sharing with us about their community programs. So we're super excited to hear all the resources that Primary Health has to offer to our community. So we will see you all back here 9 a.m. on July 27th. Have a good day, everyone.
Thank you, Astrid. Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you so much. Have a
You're
good one,
welcome.
everyone.
Thanks.